Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So in this video we are going to learn how to create a upstream and downstream jobs in Jenkins. So this is based on a task. So please check the task details on this blog. So if you go to this blog you can find the details of the task and other instructions. Please do support me by like, subscribe, comment on my YouTube channel. So let's get started. First go to that blog and you can find the task upstream and downstream jobs in Jenkins. So before we start, I would like to tell you that I have set up a lab for this task, which has 3 servers, one for Jenkins, one for app servers, one for Git. So these task instructions are based on my learning lab. As you can see, M02 is my app server, and master server is which is I am currently in, which is my Jenkins running on, and M01 is my Git server. So just follow the steps and you can get understand how to create this or how to complete this task. So the task requires if anyone pushes the file to the repository on master, which means in the Git repository, if anyone pushes that, the chain app deployment task should be automatically triggered and it will copy that content to the app server. In my case this is app server. So you just read the instruction and you can understand what the task is required, and I'll show you that how to complete this task so you can set up your own lab. So first of all, in order to complete this task we have to follow this set of instructions. So step 1, enable passwordless sudo in app server. So in my case the app server is M02. So this is my app server. Let me log in. So this is my lab server. I'm using Apache. So I already created Apache user on my app server. So the instruction requires enable password let's do an app server. We have already done this task on our previous task. If you haven't watched that video, please go and check that video. So there are half of the steps we have already learned in our previous video. So I just go to the terminal. This is the master server, which is my Jenkins server. From here I just SSH to my app server. So I am in my app server. What you have to do is you have to type this command vi sudo and go to the end of the file, and you have to add the username of your app server. In my case it's Apache. I have created this user already, so you have to enter the username for the app server followed by this command. Okay, save the file. Then we'll go back to step number 2. Install Gitea SSH publish over SSH authorization token root plugins in Jenkins. You have to install these plugins. Hope you already know how to install the plugins. I have already installed these plugins, but I will show you how you can install these plugins. So go back to my Jenkins UI and manage Jenkins. Okay, manage plugins. Then go to available, and you have to search each packages one by one and select this tick mark, then go back to search another. So you can select all the packages and at the end download now and install after restart. So we have to install again. I will tell you that we have to install Gitea plugins, SSH, and publish over SSH plugin and authorization token root. I have already installed 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 plugins. So you have to do the same. Then we move on to the step 3. Add Gitea user credentials in Jenkins. So go back to my Jenkins UI. So I have already told you that my Gitea user, I have already set up a Git services localhost. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, currently I'm in my Gitea UI. So I have created a user called Kumar, and already I have created a repository called chianed-build. So you can simply create a repo by clicking this and new repository, and inside the new repository I have create an HTML file called home.html. Okay, so this is my Git server, and I have created a user called Kumar. So this is the user we are going to enter in the Jenkins UI. Go to manage Jenkins, because as you can see the step number 3 is add user to with the credentials in Jenkins. So in my case the username is Kumar and the respective credentials. So go to the Jenkins UI and Jenkins UI, and go to manage credentials, and you have to click global. So I have already added the credential, but first time you have to click this global, then add credentials. So I'll show you how to add that. Once you click that add credential, you will see this screen. Okay, and you have to give the username and you have to type the password. Once you type the password and save, it will be changed to concealed, and you can give any ID. In my case I just give the Kumar. Okay, so go back to the step number. Why I have put step 3 and step 3? Because we have already added the Git user with the credential in our Jenkins, right, which is Kumar and its credential. The next, add pseudo users and the SSH credential in Jenkins, which is the user for app server. So again in the same window, you have to add the user. In my case, Apache is the user for my app server. Okay, so same you have to give at the Apache and its respective credential here. Okay, so go to the next step. Add SSH host in Jenkins. Go back to the Jenkins UI. Go to manage Jenkins and configure system. Sorry about the background noise, guys. There are constructions going on in my neighborhood, so that's why there's a lot of noise. Okay, so it's getting too slow because I have set up my own lab maker in my laptop. So this is I've created the 3 server using VirtualBox. So in here you have to add the under the SSH remote host. You need to add. This is my app server. I just add the credentials for my app server, zero 02 and port 22, and my app server username is Apache, and so you can select it here because I have already added, right? So and also you have to add the Git server name. In my case, the Git server is M001 port 22, and the Git user is Kumar. You can select here. Okay, Apache is my app server user. Kumar is my Git user. Okay, so that step is completed. Go to the step 5. Configure the publish over SSH Jenkins. So for this task, that's why we have installed this plugin, publish over SSH. So go back to our configuration. At the same window, go to the bottom of this page. So you can find a section called publish over SSH. So go here and you have to add. When you click the add, the screen will come and you have to enter the name. Here you have to give the app server details. So in my case, I just give the name. You can give any name. Then the host name of your app server. Then the username of your app server. Okay. Then the directory where the source file or the index, in my case that home.html file, you want to copy it. So in my case, from Git server, Git repository, there is a home.html file. Once the Jenkins job is triggered, that home.html file will be copied into this location. Okay, so you can test the configuration and it should be success. Okay, then go back to our next step. Then create an upstream build jobs. Okay, go back to our task details. From here onwards, we are going to read this task details and going to create. So this is an upstream job. Create a Jenkins job name chain app deployment and configure it in a way that if anyone pushes any new changes to the origin repository of master branch, then the job should auto-build and deploy the latest code on app server M002 and var www. Okay, we are going to create this job. Go back to this dashboard, leave the page. Okay, I have already created the job, but you can simply create new item and give the job name. Okay, and once you've created, you have to configure it based on the instruction. Okay, okay. The first thing you have to do, go to the source code management. Wait, okay, it's loaded fully. Go to the source code management and select from none to Git. We have to select the Git. Okay, then you have to give the repository URL. In my case, this is the URL which is running on my Git. Okay, m001. I'll show you. This is my server, and okay, this is my server, which is Git services running on, and you have to copy this URL. So I have already told you that I have already created this user, and then this user have created a repository called chain-web. Okay, so inside the chain-web, I have created a HTML file called home.html. So you can simply copy this, http and copy this repository URL and go back to your Jenkins chain app deployment, which is Upstream shops, and you have to paste it here. Then you have to select a username Kumar. Why Kumar? Because Kumar is the user who created this. Okay, repo. And after that, just scroll it down, and the branch specified it master is already mentioned in this task. And okay, then under build triggers, you have to select triggers build remotely. Okay, see, it will show like this. You have to click here, and you have to give the token name. So the token, you can give anything. So in my case, I just give chianed-build. So you can just type the token name. Then after that, you have to remember this URL or copy this URL. Just pattern should be at the end. The token should become. You have to copy this. You have to edit the URL based on your token name. Okay. So copy this and save somewhere else. Then go back to the build environment section. Under the build environment section, you have to select send file or execute command over SSH after the build runs. Okay. So in here, you have to select your app server. In my case, it's m002 is my app server, and the transfer file is, you have to give this. Why? Because it will copy all the file. In my case, it's HTML home.html to the apps to our app server and the directory. Okay, so just okay, everything looks good, and you have to apply and save. Okay, then go back to our task details, create another job, Jenkins jobs name services, and make it downstream job, and chain app deployment things to take care about this job should be HTTP service and app server. Okay, so this is the part you have already done. That task number 3, that create a repo in the name chain web and create a home.html file under it. So this is I have already done. That's why I show you that I will create a repo called chainweb and create a file called home.html. Okay, so what is our next step? Create upstream job, create a downstream job, build job, set up a Git webhook. Okay, okay, create a downstream job. Okay, so then go back to our dashboard. Let's create that downstream job. Okay, called services, new item, paste, freestyle, click OK. Okay, just once you created the downstream shops, you have to select this under the build triggers, go to the build after the project are built. So select that, it will show additional options and you have to give here project to watch. So you also make sure you have to select the trigger only if build is stable. Okay, so the name is chain app deployment, chain app deployment. Okay, so then go back here, build environment, central execute command or SSH after the build run. Okay, okay, then you have to go to the next section is build. In the build you have to click here. Execute shell script on a remote using SSH. Okay, click that one. So here you have to select your server where the command need to be executed. Then give the command is sudo service apshe apache do restart. Okay, then save it. Then this is the step we have created. That we have created a downstream shop named services, and it's look after the project that chain app deployment. Then we have created the command to restart HTTP services, and it triggers only if the chain app deployment status is stable. So what is the next step? Set up a webhook, set up web Gta webhooks. Okay, so go back to my Jenkins. Sorry, go to our Git UI. Click these settings. After that, you have to select webhooks. So here you have to give the URL that we have copied from our previous step, right? So I have told you that I have set up this chain build, and this is the URL. This URL is for my Jenkins URL, and this is the token name we gave on our previous step. So after that, give that and save. You can simply give add webhooks and give this URL. Okay. So go to our next step. Commit changes to the home.html. Okay. So I just go back to my Gitea. So currently I'm logging in my Kumar user, and already you have to clone this directory. So you can clone using this command. clone, and the repository URL. You have to give the URL of this repo. Okay, then it will be cloned here. So cd, I already cloned that. I will show you the both file. Same here, the home.html file, chianed-build, welcome. Okay, so go back to here, and when you check this, yes, chianed-build, welcome. So the both are the same file. So I'm going to edit this file now. As per the instructions in the task. So we have to add SSH into your Git server and using your credential which you use to create a Git repo. So in my case it is Kumar. So and clone it the repository. So we have already done it, and update the home.html content to welcome to my chain app deployment. Okay, so this is, we have to edit in our, okay, and here I keep this one as welcome, and from here I'm just going to change, oh, not here, wait, okay, here I'm going to change welcome to my chain deployment, and congrats, you have, okay, so yes, enter. After that you have to Gitea. I'm going to push that. Okay, so if everything, hey, all the setup is correct, then it's automatically trigger the job. So I'm just going to keep eye on that our job. Okay, just go to back to dashboard and chain app deployment, and here you can see the build history. So the last is 25. If everything correct, then automatically triggers another job. And after that, I will show you in my app server. So in this directory, I'm currently in www.html directory, and currently there are one file, it's called index.html. After that, we push that home.html. Then if everything's correct, then home.html file will automatically copy to this location. So then we can access it using our local URL. So go back here, and I have already edited the file. Okay, and git home.html, git commit home.html, sorry, git commit m, git message updated. Okay, and git push origin master, git push origin master, and the username is Kumar. So it's okay. Then we go back to our UI. Let's see, it's triggered successfully. Yes, you can see it's number 24, the build number 24. Just click that build and go to console output and go back to here, and yes, new build of service, and it's success. So with the success, then our home.html file should be transferred to our destination location, which is in our case is var www.html. Okay, so ls yes, it is there. So let's access that file. So go here and my app server is node02 example.com home.html. So that is the file we created, right? node02 example.com home.html, that is the file. Let's see. Okay, congratulations, you have successfully built the chain build, which is so we'll do it one more time. Go back to your Jenkins UI and change the file sudo name on.html. Let's change this as successfully completed. Okay, so yes, enter. Okay, now I'm going to push that file to our repository, Gitea home.html, git commit message new update, then git push login master with the username, password. Okay, so it's successfully, so you can check that whether it's actually into this file. Yes, successfully completed. And go back to your Jenkins UI, and the trigger should be started in 26 as I remember. Yes, successfully triggered, and you can see the output here. And yes, it's success. Go back to your kept home.html. Yes, successfully complete, and access your website. Just refresh it. Yes, you can see that, right? So I'm in my app server, disconnecting it. Cat. Please, guys, please support me by like, subscribe, comment on my YouTube channel. Sorry about the sound; it's not clear, and sorry about if it is not clear about any screen or anything. And please do comment if you are not understanding steps. Please do support me by subscribe, like my channel. Stay tuned, I will upload more videos, and I will do some correction in my mic settings and all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Thank you.